Pauline,
Yeah,
what are you doing?
I'm doing some French donuts.
Donuts?
Yeah, donuts.
With that much flour?
Yeah, of course.
And without bananas or lemon?
No.
You're not putting lime into your donuts?
No, I'm not.
So what are you putting into them?
I put some Nutella.
Nutella in your donuts?
Yes.
No! You put bananas. Bananas and lime?
Really?
Yeah,
No.
that's how we do them in Guadeloupe.
No, I'm doing like donuts with
That's not how they do it in Montpellier?
there. Yeah, there.
No! What are you talking about? No! You see, guys? This is why it's important to talk about culture, because even though we speak the same language, we're both French, but our definition of donuts is totally different.
Not the same.
When I talk about donuts, I think about carnival, I think about different notions, I think about sugar cane, I think about different ingredients and spices. She probably thinks about Nutella?
I think about Nutella, I think about beach, and I think like about sugar. That's all.
So Pauline, tell me, why do video work in language learning?
Well, video works in language learning because, first of all, videos make the students motivated, as videos engage the students in any activity, thus making it the greatest source of input. Secondly, the videos make the lessons memorable, because videos generate visual stimulants that wake up the brain cells and demand focused attention. Moreover, videos improve learning outcomes, but as teachers, we have to choose the videos effectively, as content matters. Indeed, videos have varying degrees of educational impact.
So among the benefits, the student can really focus on linguistic details, so they can, for example, get a little bit of like language particles, or like hear things that they remember that they like learned in the lesson. There is a debate about the subtitle. So the debate about the subtitle is like, depending on the level of the students, you can choose to put them or not to put them. So basically with the subtitles, what research has said is that when you're in like the low levels, or like, for example, like beginners, you can choose to like voluntarily put the subtitle, because it can create this very compact lesson of like trying to like negotiate on the listening skills and the reading skills. So like they can see the word and they can hear the accent, they can pick up different accent regarding a word or whatever, and it can be interesting and a faster way for them to learn. However, when you're starting to get into the biggest level, like the highest level, it can be an issue, because research has also said that it can create a distraction for them. So like they would tend to like strategically just look at what is being said in the subtitle, and like it prevents them from looking at the video and what is happening inside the video, and like prevents them from picking up the different like cultural skills that they can gain from the video.
Thirdly, videos make the culture meaningful.
Meaningful.
Yes. Culture can never be divorced from the language that gives it expression. So videos provide visual contexts for the lessons, allowing students to see not only what the teacher or native speakers actually look like, but also their facial expressions, their animated gestures, and even their fashion sense. So only videos really give this type of peek into the culture of the language you are learning. And that's why it's better for you to use it as soon as you begin to learn the language.
Yeah. So with videos, learners can discover like a lot of new things that they are not able to gain from the classroom. They can see different perspectives. They can gain new opinions, new visions. It can awake their cultural sensibility. For example, it can, like, if you look into like the different type of languages, so another interesting quality of videos is like it's moving images. So you're able to like target a way much more lesson and language learning with the videos, because the quality of moving images is that it's easier for the learner or the person who's going to look at the video to pick up the different way that people act, the way that they act. For example, they're able to really look at the way people act, the way they behave, the way they speak, the way they excuse me, the way they have a conversation with each other, the way they interact with each other. So that's something that is interesting to see.
So now we're going to see what kind of issues teachers are dealing with about using video materials.
The issues, right?
The issues.
The issues, guys.
The issues. So first of all, teachers should be careful not to spread common culture stereotypes when using videos, or to treat the culture superficially without any critical discussion. So teachers have to be careful by using videos. They cannot teach culture without engaging critically with different representations of culture, whether it is the way it is seen by the members of the culture or by people outside the culture. So,
I think that is important to look into that, because there's another element that we always look into when we talked about culture. We talked a lot about perception. So for example, whether you're looking at yourself individually as a member of your native culture and interacting with your native community, or like your native culture, and then the way that you see things, and then it's kind of like looking into the target culture and interacting with that culture and looking at both culture and like being like kind of creating bridges between both, and like looking back at yourself and thinking about both, and like create perspectives and like broaden your horizons basically.
So now our role as teachers engaging videos. So the preparation when engaging video is important. Indeed, teachers should understand the genre and its nature. Help students notice differences in the target language, speech styles is an important thing to do when you are teaching with video materials. The necessity for the selection and the use of appropriate tasks in order to promote learning is also necessary when we are teaching with video materials.
So things that are very important and to keep in mind, we like kind of gain a couple like keywords from the whole thing. So it's like as a teacher, you need to be careful of your audience. Your audience that's being said, like what is your audience composed of? Is it young, or usually we're doing beginners and university level, so it's mostly gonna be young people. So you need to think about what they're interested in. Do they listen to rap music? What type of music do they listen to? When they listen to the news, do they tend to use social media more and more? So like create activities that will always keep them awake and make them motivated about coming into the classroom. Another thing you need to be aware of is the level. So the level is beginner. However, students will not pick up the language at the same time. Some of them, even though we do the test at the beginning, students will always like learn and then progress at a different level. So you need to think about that when you choose your video. Think about a video that is not too long, that's not going to take a lot of time within the classroom. You need to think about a video that's not going to be too difficult. So when we look into the rate of the people speaking, for example, if they're speaking too fast, even though it is authentic material, we need to make sure that it's adjusting to the level of the students so that they do not feel frustrated, or that they do not feel like they're not learning anything in the classroom. You need to also be aware that as a professor, you are not a human encyclopedia. You do not know anything, so it's more about engaging with the whole learning process as a conversational partner. That is to say, you're engaging with your own culture, and the students are also engaging within your culture, and you are also engaging with the students' culture. So it's like an exchange.